EDU 290, and we did a video on the usage of clickers in the classroom. We interviewed a teacher and a student and their perspective on what they thought.
I'm Jeff Hoyle. I teach in the marketing department. I teach marketing 151, 221. The specific class I use clickers in is 460, and there's another class in there, but I can't think of it right now.
Okay. So what specific technology do you use in the classroom? I think you mentioned. Is it just clickers, or?
I use clickers, and I don't know if you consider mediation, any of that.
Okay.
Dabbled in podcasts a bit, some of that, haven't really embraced it, but probably the clickers is the most recent technology I would say embrace, but am embracing.
Okay.
Trying to understand, maybe is a better word.
Okay. What do you use the clickers for?
I use them every day, and I use them to stimulate discussion. I found it interesting. Well, I'll leave it at that. So I'll answer it and then elaborate where you tell me to.
Okay. Are they just things you use like once per class period, or do you use them like throughout the class period, or do they serve more than one function, I guess?
Yeah, they serve more than one function. I like it because one, it would do intersperse it with the discussion of the class, and also on the fly, if there's something that comes up, you can type in a question and kind of assess that. Hey, I thought about that, and you can put that in. So it allows some spontaneity or flexibility.
Okay. Okay. And then what benefits do you think it offers to your students that you use this technology?
And I like the way you say think, because here's what I think, and maybe I'm going to plan to assess it after the semester, but really I've sensed more engagement in the class. Questions that I previously would have thrown out, like a true false, have stimulated more discussion in the classroom, because you'll have a yes or no, and I'm thinking it's going to be obviously yes, and we'll have a split or it'll be opposite direction, so we can, why is that? And it stimulates some of the best in conversations, so engagement and discussion on topics that I would have just glossed over before. That's what I'm really observing. And I'm hoping that bears out with the students' assessment as well.
Okay. And then will you probably use the clickers to assess whether the students like the clickers, or?
Use an assessment using the clickers to see if they like the clickers. I hadn't thought about that. That's probably a good. That's a good idea. I might use that now. So, in addition to the end of course surveys we use, thanks for sharing that. So I'll probably put an assessment in for the last class to assess that and see how that compares, and I can compare that with the SOS scores.
Hi, I'm Hillary Taslar, and I used clickers in my Healthy Lifestyles class.
And what did you use clickers for?
We used them for what my professor called attendance quizzes, and she just used them on random days to take attendance.
So did you ever use them after attendance?
No.
Did she ever incorporate them into the lesson?
The way that they were questions on what we were learning, and we would answer them like, how many of you drink coffee, for example, and then in answering the question she would incorporate it into her lesson on coffee or whatever, and then she would also find out who was in class that day.
All right. And did you think the clickers were beneficial for you in the classroom?
I thought they were interesting. I don't know if they were necessarily beneficial, but they were interesting, and I'd never used them before or since.
We're interviewing Jeff Hoyle and Hillary Taslar. We found that the professor thought they were interesting and beneficial to his lesson, but he had never actually asked students what they thought about them. And the student that we interviewed said that she found them interesting, but she wasn't sure if they actually were beneficial for her learning. So the jury is still out on clickers in the classroom, but hopefully through things like this we can figure out what students and professors think and how to make them useful.